Today we are talking elegance, but specifically we are talking about ways to make your bedroom feel more elegant. I do plan on making a video where I touch on different things that you can do in your entire home, but I figured for the first video I would just stick to the bedroom because that's where most of us spend a decent amount of our time. And when you're going to bed and you are getting ready to wind down, being in an elegant space just feels so much more relaxing. So I felt like this was a really good place to start. If I'm being honest though, I am not the type of person that naturally exudes elegance. I really wish I was. I'm just not. Even if I dress a certain way, I really have to try to behave in an elegant way. It just doesn't, it's not something that comes naturally to me, and I have been striving to be more of an elegant person. And I know that sounds really weird, but I don't know, I really like the qualities that an elegant person has, and I really look up to those people. I respect those people, and obviously I'm just like a total child and I don't have that at all, but when it comes to like my interiors, it kind of helps me feel like I'm more of an elegant person. So if you are like me, then these tips are for you. So most of these ideas and tips don't cost you anything. They are kind of based upon habits, and elegance can be anything from, furnishings that are really nice, a style, but it can also go into your daily habits and the things that you do, and that can exude elegance. So some of those things are also on the list too. So the first one is a really big one, and that is to iron your bed sheets, your pillowcases, steam your drapes, steam your bed skirt. Make sure everything is ironed out and smooth. If you go into a really nice hotel, you're never gonna go in there and see the bed sheets all wrinkled. They're always ironed and they look very clean, and that's kind of how you want your room to feel when you walk into it. I like to think of it as a really nice hotel room, but more style. So this is just such a simple thing. It might be a little more time consuming. I was the type of person that would just pull my duvet out and put it on my bed, and it would always be so wrinkly, but recently I started ironing my bed sheets and it just looks 1,000 times better. So it's really a small thing that can make a really big difference. And with that, we have lint rolling your bed sheets, your pillows, your drapes. If you have pets, fur can ruin everything, I swear, and I have cats. So I have a lint roller that I use. I got it from Amazon. It is such a lifesaver. It doesn't involve ripping off tape constantly. It's reusable, and it just saves me when it comes to lint rolling my bed sheets and my pillowcases. It's so incredibly easy. And if it comes to having, a really hairy bed or a bed that's not hairy, I would prefer the bed that's not hairy, And there's nothing more annoying than getting into bed and just having like hair tickle around your face because you have cat hair all over your bed or dog hair. Just saying. The next one is a very big one because this is something that you can easily do, but it can take some time. And that is to organize your entire bedroom and to hide away unnecessary items into your bedside table or wherever you have storage in your bedroom. The reason I say this is because when it comes to elegance, I feel like it's very much more simple and there's not a lot of unnecessary items sitting out. So if you have lotion in an ugly bottle sitting next to your bedside table, put it in a drawer, It's just little things like that. It's not a big deal to pull things out at night whenever you're using it. It's so much nicer when you walk into your room and you have space to sit something down, some water, some tea, a book, and it's not entirely cluttered. And clutter really does make such a big difference. Even if you don't think it does, and it's just more visually appealing when everything is organized. making sure that the items that you have on display, this is including your bed sheets, your drapes, your pillowcases, your accent pillows, books, anything that you have laying around, anything you have on your wall, make sure it is all cohesive. If you have too much color everywhere, it becomes pretty distracting. You want to make sure that you stick to a strict color palette. That's why when you look at my items behind me, I purposely have items that match my room. I do have a few books that are black that I have in my drawer. I keep the items that fit my color palette of my room out on display because I don't need to put those away. They're not distracting to the eye. It actually adds more to the room by having those items out. So if you have a bunch of random things around your room that don't match, maybe you have a bright colored vase in the corner of your room, maybe you have some prints on your wall that just don't match everything else in your room, then try making everything cohesive and sticking to a color palette. Making sure that your pillows are relatively the same size. And the reason I say this is because I went out and purchased some random pillows one day because I needed pillows, and they actually weren't the normal size of a pillow. They're like this small, and my other pillows that I own are this big. So when I line them up on my bed, it looks really weird because the sizes just don't match up. It looks very unorganized and unappealing to the eye. I finally have two pillows that go in the front that are identical and symmetrical, and it makes such a big difference just having those two pillows that are twins. And with those pillows though, you also could get the really big 28 by 28 inch square pillows, and you could just add those to your bed to make it look a little more luxurious. And another thing you could do is add accent pillows if you wanted to go a little extra. I am not the biggest fan of accent pillows because I feel like you can never actually use them when you sleep and it's just to display, and I'm all about getting items that I can use, you know, multi-purpose items. But I do think they can add some extra detail to your space. The next one is window treatments. If you have blinds up, consider adding some drapes, a really pretty curtain rod to kind of give your space a more elegant feel. It really makes such a big difference when you finally cover up your blinds and your shutters and you put some drapes in, especially when you apply them correctly. So if you've seen my room makeovers, I never actually nail my drapes into the wall, so they are always at the wrong spot on the window. I know. But if you are applying drapes to your wall, make sure you go all the way to the ceiling because it makes your room feel bigger. And you want to make sure that the drapes go from the ceiling all the way to the floor. You don't want it to be too short, okay? And these can run more on the pricey side. They're probably about $40 a panel for blackout curtains that reach the floor. But I think it's something that you will get good use out of, and it will look really good in your room. The next one is to get a headboard like this. I think the tufted headboards are so classy. They can be in velvet, linen, cotton, like whatever. I just think the tufted is such an elegant headboard. Even if it doesn't have the tufted and it's just fabric with, you know, some more simple details on the edges. It can be square, it can be rounded. I'm all for them now. Now that I finally have one, I love it. I thrifted my headboard on Facebook Marketplace for $40, brand new, crazy. So you could definitely thrift one and not get a super expensive one because they can run anywhere from around $300 to $2,500 depending on what you're looking for. So I would recommend looking on Facebook Marketplace or anything like that that you have in your area and try to get one that way. Another way to make your room feel more elegant is to not use overhead lighting in your space, but to use your lamps instead. And with that, make sure that you choose the correct light bulb. You want to make sure that you have the correct temperature. It's not a super bright light that's going to feel sterile like a hospital. That's like the worst lighting ever. Make sure it's a little bit of a warmer tone. The next one is to purchase nice bed sheets, and these don't have to be expensive. You can get nice bed sheets on Amazon for relatively cheap. You can get a duvet that's around $30 actually. I think it goes more into the color that you get and making it cohesive with your room. For instance, I have a bright white sheet and I have a cream duvet set on top. So I have like two different colors here, but I just think that the cream and the white look so good together and it looks very clean. I really try to stay away from lots of patterns and something that's too bright, too overbearing, and I try to make it match my room. And I think that's really important. And of course, I ironed the sheets. Scent is so important in any space, and of course the bedroom has to smell good. So I would recommend to make your bedroom smell good. There's multiple ways to do this. I'm sure you know them. You've got candles, you've got plugins, you've got incense. Not the biggest fan of incense in my opinion, but yeah, there's many ways to do this that are definitely affordable. I think of all of them though, candle would have to be my favorite. I think that candles give off great lighting. You can also find a really pretty candle to put by your bedside, and it smells good and it also looks really nice. So the next one costs nothing but your time, and that is to always keep your room clean. For some reason, when I think of elegance, I think of the nicest hotel I've ever been to, and when you walk into the nicest hotel, you're not gonna find it dirty, and if you did, you would probably leave. When it comes to a really nice, elegant bedroom, you want to think of it in the same way. Keeping your room clean is really important. When you walk into your room, a messy room can be extremely distracting. It can stress you out even if you aren't aware, and it's just not a nice place to wind down. Making sure that you make your bed in the morning, so when you walk in at night, it feels like you're getting into this like luxurious space. Making sure that you put your clothes away in your closet, you are getting stuff off of the floor. I just think it's such a good way to make your room feel more elegant. And with keeping your room clean is to hide away cables. The first thing I do when I come into a space is I will do anything to hide away those ugly cables and get them out of the way and get them to a spot that is still accessible but not seen. My lamps, my chargers, I put all that stuff under the bed, under my bed skirt, except my phone charger. It goes under my pillow. No one can ever see it when they walk in a room, and especially me, I don't have to see it. And if you have a TV that has cables, if you have a Wi-Fi router, there are ways to go about covering this up. You could just Google a few, but I know that there are, I think they're called track strips. I honestly can't remember the name right now, but they go on your wall and they're white. You can paint them and it covers your cables. There are options for doing this. If you have stuff that's kind of in a spot where it's hard to cover, you can cover it, I promise. The next one is to organize your closet. Make sure that your clothes are color coordinated. Maybe go out and get hangers that are all the same color. And I know you are the only one going in your closet, but isn't it so nice to go into a closet that is just pristine when you're getting ready? Because I think it is. Not only that, if you are the type of person that has your clothes displayed on a pretty clothing rack, then making it more aesthetic, it just looks much nicer in your room. Next is to add gold accents in your space, and I just think that any sort of metallic accent in general looks really elegant. So it doesn't have to be gold, it could be silver, whatever you like. But if you have anything like handles on a dresser and you don't really like them, you could just spray paint them a metallic color just to add a little something extra to your space to kind of make it feel a little nicer. The next one is to get flowers. They can be real or fake, okay? I'm a fan of fake plants. Don't come at me. I rarely ever get real flowers. I never ask for them for holidays. They die. I feel bad. But the one thing that I think of when I walk into a house that is really nice, I always see fresh flowers. So I just thought this was a really good one to add to the list. The next way to make your room feel more elegant is by painting your walls an entirely new color. So if you have like a really bright, distracting color in your room, maybe you have different color walls. Like growing up, well, not growing up, this wasn't that long ago, I had a 3D painted wall, and then I also had a wall that all my friends could draw on. When I walked into that room, it did not feel elegant at all. There was a lot going on. It was very much visually cluttering. So painting your walls can really make a big difference. Another thing you can do is upgrade your hardware. This can be your light switches, this can be your outlets, your door handles. You can buy something that has some embellishments, a metallic accent, maybe just white, just something that looks a little nicer. These can run, you know, a little more on the pricey side depending what you're looking for. And the last one, and the reason I put this last is because it's the most expensive, is to consider doing crown molding, chair molding. So I did my wainscoting wall behind me with 3 picture frames, and it cost me under $100. This was just for one wall. If you're doing an entire room, it's gonna cost you a pretty penny. But I will say it makes a huge difference. So it just really depends how far you want to go when it comes to making your space feel a certain way. That's entirely up to you. I also have a whole video just on the wainscoting process and how I did this wall behind me. If you would like to check that out here, you can click on the card. So that is it for all of my ideas on how to make your room feel more elegant. I know the list wasn't super long, but I felt like these hit all of the main points that I personally think of and what I personally do in my own space. And if you were interested in seeing more videos like this, I have lots more on my channel and different aesthetics. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.